Alright y'all, welcome back to the channel and to some more turkey patterning, and today we've got a combination that one of you guys requested to see, but I've got some serious doubts about it coming into it here. I'll explain more about that in a second, but one of you guys wanted to see it, so I figured we'll bring it out here and try it, see what happens. But for the shells I've got today, I brought out some of these, the Winchester Longbeard XR 20 gauge shells. They're a 3-inch, 1¼ ounce payload of 5-shot, moving about 1,000 feet per second. And for the setup we're going to run those through, I brought out the Stevens 301 20 gauge. It's got a 26-inch barrel on it. And for the choke, we've got a Carlson's heavyweight TSS 555 constriction. Now, we've seen good results with that 301 and that 555 Carlson's. The problem here is the Longbeard XR 20 gauge shells. Now, real quick, long story short, the 20 gauge Longbeard lead shells are simply not a very good or reliable shell. We've tested our fair share of them in 5s and 6s now, and we've only ever seen one single good pattern out of them across the board. All the rest of them have been just all over the place, terrible patterns, and it seems like it's pretty much a 50-50. Some people like them, but a lot of other people have the same issues with them. So if we see a good pattern from this combo today, then hey, great, the shell actually worked like it was supposed to. If we don't see a good pattern, then these just aren't worth the time to take 3, 4, 5, 6 shots in hopes of getting a shell that works properly. So we're just gonna have to kind of take it at face value today. If this is the shot that counted, that's just gonna be what it is. As of right now, I would not suggest going to get any 20 gauge Longbeard lead shells. They just aren't consistently reliable enough. But as for today's test, everything is set up the same as we would normally do it. Turkey targets at 40 yards, and I've got the chronograph so we can get our velocity from the shell. So let's get you guys set up with a view of that target and see if we happen to get an actual consistent performance today. And if we do, how well does it actually perform through a 555 choke? Let's head over here and take our shot and see what happens. Alright, so that shell gave us 1185 through the chrono. Boss claim is only 1,000, but typically we are seeing around 1,100 or so out of these shells, which I think is a little bit better than down there at 1,000. So nothing out of the ordinary or nothing way off up here as far as our velocity goes, but how did they actually perform down there at 40? Let's go check it out and see. Alright, well, now we're down here at our 40-yard paper, and yep, this is about what I expected to see and what I was worried about here. Absolutely terrible pattern all day long. It is not good even in the slightest. Now, right off the bat, I will go ahead and address a couple things because I can already see people commenting on it now. First off, why didn't you take multiple shots? You can't base everything off of one shot. Well, like I mentioned earlier, we've done, I don't know, 5, 6, 7, 8 other tests at least with these in 5s and 6s, and this is what we've seen every single time but one. So they're just not worth using up an entire box of shells to hopefully get one good pattern out of them. That kind of stuff tells me that they're probably not very good, or at least not very consistent as far as performance goes. Number two, 555 is too much choke for a lead 5. Well, that may be true or it may not be, but even if that wasn't the exact choke that these shells prefer, we should still be seeing a much better pattern than this. Typically, if it's too much choke for a shell, you'll see a nice core, but the edges are blown out, and that clearly is not at all what we saw here today. And number three, in all of your experiences, you've never had a problem with them. Well, that's great, but seems like a lot of the other people out there are getting these kind of patterns out of them. So that kind of goes both ways as well. My experience is going to be different than yours, and yours is going to be different than somebody else's. So maybe we got all that addressed now, and we can actually look at the pattern, which is not good at all. You can see we have a handful of pellets at best, even on the turkey paper at all. Would you have killed the turkey? Probably so. You got one right through the spine right there at the bottom edge of his neck. So he probably would have gone down with several more body shots as well. But is that a 40-yard capable turkey pattern? I don't really think it is, to be honest with you. At 30 yards, 25, 20 yards, whatever, would it technically be good enough to get you a turkey with it? Yes. Is it reliably consistent enough to do that? I don't really know. Around the edges, we pretty much have a waterfowl pattern here. We covered the entire paper with pellets all over the place. I mean, there's a ton of massive voids in there all over the entire paper. It is a straight up waterfowl type of pattern. And if you could use a lead 5 for waterfowl still, then that wouldn't be a terrible performance, but you can't really do that anymore. So unfortunately, once again, the 20 gauge Longbeard shells did what they kind of typically do and not give us a good pattern. We could sit here and shoot the whole box and maybe get one to perform correctly, but that's not the case. And another thing I just thought of, none of the shells in my box have loose or rattly pellets in them at all. They're all nice and solid and tight, so that is not a concern here either. If they're terrible shells, I'm going to tell you they're terrible shells. And as it stands right now, in my experience, do not buy the lead Longbeard 20 gauge shells. Lead in a 20 gauge is borderline sometimes anyway, but these aren't even remotely consistent like a lot of the other basic lead shells are. You can get a straight up basic field load to perform better than that. So not surprising for me anyway as far as this combination goes. Maybe you've had better experiences, but this is the kind of pattern that I kind of expected to see out of these, unfortunately. And here's the wad from those shells. Very typical Winchester stuff. Nothing fancy, nothing special to see. We had one petal open a little farther than the others, but that's not at all uncommon. But no major damage or anything like that. No snags, nothing stuck down in there. So going off looks here, this wad should have performed way better than the pattern we saw. But I don't necessarily think the wad is the issue here. I think it's their buffer material or something to do with how the pellets are actually loaded in here as far as consistency goes. But the wad, I don't think was our big issue today. All right, y'all. Well, what did you think about that pattern right there? It is definitely a terrible turkey pattern. There's no other way to put it. But like I've already discussed a number of times in this video, that doesn't surprise me. It's just kind of the unfortunate reality with these Longbeard 20 gauge shells, at least the lead versions. The TSS Longbeard shells are fantastic. Lead ones, not so much. Now, of course, different people's experiences may vary, but I know from my testing as well as a lot of other people, it seemed like get the same exact disappointment that I got here. And I'm sure I'm gonna get the same comments on stuff that I already went over, but I don't know. The pattern kind of speaks for itself. If it's not a good shell, it's not a good shell. Doesn't really matter what choke you put it through. It's gonna still disappoint you. And that's pretty well what we saw here with these. So leave all your thoughts down in the comments. Is that about what you expected to see? Were you a little surprised one way or the other? Have you tested any of the lead Longbeard 20 gauge shells? And if so, what kind of results have you seen from them? Are they something you would ever hunt with? Or would you just stay clear of them? And maybe what other choke combos would you want to see these run through? I don't think it really is going to matter because this is pretty well the typical, no matter what choke we've run them through. But if there's some other magical combination out there that you guys think might perform good, then let me know and I guess we can try it and see what happens. But leave all your thoughts down below. At the end of the day, if you're looking to buy shells based off my opinion about them, then I would just kind of stay clear of these. They're just not really worth your time. Even if you get a couple of good patterns out of them, the inconsistencies that they have could lead you to get that pattern when you actually take the shot out in the field. And that is not what you want to have happen. So they are not at all a shell that I would recommend right now. They just haven't shown me anything good or reliable enough to make them a usable shell for an actual turkey hunt. But with that being said, I've got some more testing to get done for you guys, so I'm going to get back to it. As always, you have the channel Instagram as well as the mailbox where you can send stuff if you'd like. All that information will be down in the description if you're interested in it, but I'm going to get back to it, so I'll see y'all in the next one.